You download the app looking for connection. Your thumb keeps dragging across the glass, clearing faces you barely register, chasing a payout that almost never comes. This is not just a late-night habit. The search for romance has turned into something mechanical. In 2025, researchers at Net Psychology found that 71% of active dating app users under 30 reported clinical anxiety and obsessive swiping behaviors, because at that hour, you are not really looking for a date anymore. You're playing a casino game, and that comparison comes from the architects themselves. Jonathan Badin, the co-founder of Tinder and inventor of the swipe mechanic, admitted the interface was directly inspired by slot machines because unpredictable rewards are one of the strongest ways to control human behavior. This runs on a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. That means a reward shows up after an unpredictable number of attempts. Because your brain cannot predict when the next jackpot match will appear, the uncertainty becomes the hook. You are no longer chasing the match, you are chasing the maybe. These platforms are behavior modification engines built to extract time and emotional investment. There is now a growing legal and clinical argument that Match Group and its competitors are weaponizing neurochemistry to keep users single, trapping them inside a pay-to-play loop. The evidence shows up in a 2026 clinical meta-analysis of over 26,000 users and recent corporate lawsuit filings. The mechanism starts inside the brain during a single swipe. Every swipe activates the mesolimbic dopaminergic pathway, the brain's reward circuit. But the chemical spike does not happen only when you match. It happens during anticipation, the exact moment before the swipe result appears. Users become addicted to the possibility of reward, swiping thousands of times like they are mining dopamine. The near-miss effect makes it worse. Seeing a desirable profile but failing to match tricks the brain into feeling like it almost won, which creates the urge to keep going. Clinicians now link this loop to the same neural pathways involved in cocaine use and chronic problem gambling. If a user finds a long-term partner and deletes the app, the platform loses the daily dopamine loop. In this architecture, success becomes the enemy. Companies like Match Group operate at a scale where individual romance becomes secondary to market capitalization. Their investors require growth. If an app married off its entire user base in 30 days, it would go bankrupt. The model depends on keeping you swiping. That conflict of interest sits at the center of a major 2024 class action lawsuit. The core claim is algorithmic throttling. The claim is that platforms deliberately restrict profile visibility, hiding users from potential matches unless they buy microtransaction boosts. In 2025, the Federal Trade Commission forced Match Group into a $14 million settlement for deceptive advertising and billing practices tied to these subscriptions. But you cannot sue a company just because you are algorithmically invisible. If you are not getting matches, that can still be a crowded marketplace, not a conspiracy. Scarcity is what the platforms sell. They monetize your invisibility. A 2026 meta-analysis of 26,000 participants found active dating app users reported significantly higher rates of clinical depression and anxiety. The research isolates two main drivers: the ghosting economy, which erases accountability and evaluation anxiety, where users start measuring their worth through match rates. But those stats also ignore reverse causation, where the supposed effect may actually be part of the cause. People who are already lonely are the ones most likely to swipe for 4 hours a day. The apps are not manufacturing all depression from scratch. They are where lonely people gather. Blaming Tinder for depressed users is like blaming a commercial gym for having out-of-shape people. But the gym does not hide the weights. The app's algorithmic sorting can actively worsen vulnerable users' conditions, turning the search for intimacy into a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. These applications function like a predatory tax on human isolation. The scale of the damage triggered regulatory blowback. The European Union's Digital Services Act now targets recommender systems and interface manipulation across the digital sector. Proposed interventions include classifying infinite swipe mechanics as dark patterns. Dark patterns are deceptive interface designs built to push users into choices that benefit the company at the expense of the user's well-being. Regulators are now calling for design transparency and daily swipe limits. Daily swipe limits? That starts sounding like bureaucratic dating prohibition. Telling a 24-year-old he has hit his legal flirting limit for the day is a dystopian overreach into personal freedom. But we already apply this logic to online casinos. Regulators mandate ethical friction, like forced cooldown periods, to break compulsive loops. But casinos do not result in marriages. Millions of people have bypassed local geography and found real partners on these apps, weakening the tool because a subset of users cannot control their screen time risks, destroying the utility for everyone else. The technology has outpaced human evolutionary psychology so badly that digital courtship is now being reclassified as a consumer protection hazard. The question is whether the dating app economy collapses under its own synthetic weight and lawsuits, or whether deleting the app becomes the only winning move. The free market of romance is dead. Modern love is now a heavily governed socio-technical system. Until the user realizes he is the inventory, the house will always win.